Welcome to the Sneaking Into the Movies podcast. I'm Max Nathan.
And I'm Norma Davis. And this week, we're talking about the Mandalorian and Grogu in our lowest effort episode yet.
Sneak in, and let's go.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
The Mandalorian and Grogu, everybody. Welcome in. If you haven't been here before, Norman and I talk about movies, and we love movies. So whenever a movie like this comes along, we get a little angry. We get a little cranky. I think it's safe to say we're both a little peeved today. And we had contemplated not even going to watch this movie. I think we were, at the beginning of the year when we make our schedule, we had said, yeah, we're not going to go watch this. But then there was some fan demand on Norman's end. Norman's buddy Preston wanted us to watch this. So
my buddy and roommate and now op, Preston, went out of his way to start watching movies again to win the Sneaking Into the Movies challenge. So Max and I here would have to sit through The Mandalorian and Grogu. We were going to have him on the show, but he's at work right now. Preston wanted to apologize to you and me, but mainly you, Max. Because Preston did go see this with me after all that. He wanted to apologize. Because, yeah, we were pretty set on not seeing this one.
Yeah.
But here we are.
Here we are. And we have seen The Mandalorian and Grogu now. Before we get into the actual
the
movie.
Max DeLorean.
Yeah.
Normu.
There you go.
There's the title.
That would have been a better movie.
See, this is what happens when we don't edit, you know?
Yeah.
We just let the brain go where we want.
Just let it fly. Let it freestyle.
Yeah.
What is your background with Star Wars? Let's just get that out of the way. Like, where are you coming from on this?
I think I had a pretty similar upbringing to most people around our ages now. We were kind of growing up as the prequels were coming out.
Mm-hmm.
My parents, more specifically my dad, huge Star Wars person. I'll never forget seeing him in theaters, all that good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So Star Wars has been a huge part of my life, my entire life. I was ridiculously excited when the sequels were coming out. I will never forget that first Force Awakens teaser. This is the most emotional trailer it made me feel at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Just the unbelievable hype of getting to see Star Wars in theaters after, the 6 movies and all the shows and all the stuff we grew up with. But in the last years, I've kind of fallen off of Star Wars. Not necessarily because I'm growing up,
Mm-hmm.
I joke, but you and we're pretty big Marvel chuds. We'll see anything those bastards put out. But Star Wars, I had pretty much given up on. I mean, like I said, I wasn't even going to see this movie.
Mm-hmm.
I was looking forward to not seeing this movie. I've seen the first 2 seasons. Didn't like the second season. I've only watched like Andor in the last 4 years, which is like the best Star Wars we've ever gotten, and I can confidently say probably will ever get. So, yeah. What about you?
I've gotten back into it recently. I watched the Maul Shadow Lord show. Thought it was pretty damn good. I didn't love the ending, but it was, it was a good show. It was a good show. Andor's pretty good, although I haven't seen season 2. But kind of, I thought Mandalorian season 1 was fine. I thought season 2 was fine, but a little worse. And then I saw Boba Fett. That sucked. And then season 3 of Mando, I watched 1 episode of it, and I was like, fuck this, I'm done. So, as you can see, based on the last few projects that I just mentioned, and also this movie in general, Star Wars is a TV show now. All the Star Wars stuff, the good stuff, the bad stuff, the whatever stuff, all of it's on TV now. We haven't had a Star Wars movie since 2019 before this movie. And that movie sucked balls. So, that's neither here nor there. But I'm just kind of I'm a little Star Warsed out. I think we're kind of on the same page here as far as like we were into it. Like the prequels are kind of like core movies for basically everybody who's our age. Whether you liked them or not, they were very like prevalent in the time that we were growing up. And I liked them. I had the little DVDs and I watched them a lot when I was a kid. And so Star Wars is somewhat important to me. I would like this to be good. But it doesn't seem like that's going to happen anymore. It seems
Yeah,
like,
I wouldn't even say like like kind of like I said, I'm not Star Wars out because of old age or overexposure. It's just all looks really bad. If all these shows they were making looked really good, I'd probably watch them. But none of them look good. I'm just like, I don't care enough.
I mean, like Andor's good, and
Yeah,
you saw season 2, right?
yeah. It's season 2 it's like point blank period my favorite Star Wars thing ever. So
Okay.
I do think Star Wars is still capable. I don't think they're still capable. I think there's still talented people who would be capable given the chance. I don't think we'll talk about it too much, but like you said, this is the first Star Wars movie in 7 years. Not for not trying though, because there have been like 100 Star Wars movies in development. They all get shut down for whatever reason, or we just never hear about them again. There's still someone who will probably tell you Ryan Johnson's still making that trilogy.
There probably is.
But
Like,
yeah,
it's crazy.
It is a mess. It is impressive watching in a little over 10 years where Star Wars has gone from the biggest thing in the world to maybe making Black Adam numbers at the box office. And it's just too much course correcting. I think they tried with The Last Jedi. They kind of let Ryan Johnson do his thing. It didn't work for everyone. Certainly worked for us, which we'll talk about more later. But they just got so in their heads. That's what got us the Rise of Skywalker and all these shows now. Is that they are so scared to try and do anything different. They make the most like offensively inoffensive, just like this is fine.
Yeah. It is really just a bunch of stuff that's fine, and then there's like Andor, which is great, and then like I said, I liked the Maul show. I liked I haven't seen it yet, but people like the final season of Clone Wars a lot. That was a Disney production. There's stuff that people like here. I think that it's undebatable that Star Wars is in a much worse position than it was 10 years ago. Like, undebatable.
As far as like, the big kind of franchise stuff goes, I would say Star Wars is like probably in the worst place.
Yeah.
DC's finally on the way back. Like Harry Potter, that show's about to be the biggest show ever.
Yeah.
It's Star Wars, man. Like, if this is Star Wars, we saw in big doo-doo, as Jar Jar Binks would say.
So let's get into the actual movie here. This is The Mandalorian and Grogu, based off of the Mandalorian television program that we spoke about just a couple of seconds ago. Norman, what did you make of this quote-unquote film?
Just want to start off by saying, way to strike while the iron's hot. Mandalorian's never been hotter. You're not 5 years late. Don't listen to them. But for real, for starters, this is like, Mandalorian came out 100 years ago. You're like, why are we making a Mandalorian movie?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this was awful. This was horrible. It was so just phoned in nothingness. I don't even have like the energy to be upset. I knew it was gonna be this. Like you said, we were pretty set on not seeing this. Thank you, Preston. But yeah, this was just like terrible. This was, I can confidently say, the worst Star Wars movie I have ever seen. I will not think about this movie the second we stop recording. I will never come back to it if I'm ever doing Star Wars marathons or whatever. This was just like nothing. Like the most nothing ever. Honest to God, pretty much nothing about this was redeemable. Like this was terrible start to finish. There was one thing I liked about it,
What is that one thing?
and you did too, because we talked about it a little bit. But I did see this in IMAX, because if I'm going to see this, might as well see it on the biggest, loudest, whatever. The sound design was cool.
Yeah.
But no shit, it is. It's Skywalker sound. It's cool sounds that I've been hearing my whole life. It's just all well put together. I'll give them that.
Yeah.
But other than that, this was just the worst.
Yeah. I agree with you. I think that what you said about it being phoned in is really apt. I think this is probably the most phoned in movie I've ever seen. Shockingly so. Like, I knew in every sense, performances, in front of the camera, behind the camera, just it seems like nobody gave a fuck. Like it's honestly crazy that this is like what a big Hollywood movie is in 2026. Like, that is really, really disappointing to me. It also, it's interesting that this is coming alongside the I guess box office rejuvenation of 2026. Like, the movies are back in general. People are going to see movies. Movies are part of the culture in a really big way right now. And this is like, and a lot of that is being driven by interesting young filmmakers, I feel like, a lot of the time. And some, big Hollywood stuff like Project Hail Mary, Mario, Devil Wears Prada, that kind of stuff. But this is like a big, this as the big Hollywood product is just not going to cut it.
This is the Memorial Day movie. This is like Top Gun used to be here, folks. Like,
yeah. This is it's just incredibly awful. Like you said, like in front of the camera, behind the camera, everybody's phoning it in. The thing that really jumped out to me immediately was, and the thing that was, it was surprising as well. I was like, usually this is the stuff that they nail in this kind of a movie. And that was, I didn't think the Mandalorian costume looked cool at all. I thought it looked
he hasn't
really
had a
shit.
cool costume in a really long time.
It looked like really cheap, like in a bad way. You can make cheap stuff work, but this was just awful. Like it looked really homemade in a really bad way.
Yeah.
And you'd think like Star Wars, like this is what they're supposed to be, the creating these creatures in these worlds, and you think about a character like Boba Fett, like that's the coolest looking guy ever. Like these Mandalorian should be even cooler. Like when you make the Mandalorian, it's I don't know. What were you gonna say?
I don't even know. But yeah, it looked like crap. I do want to say though, this was directed by Jon Favreau. Buddy. John, my main man. I really like Jon Favreau.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? He made Elf. That's like my favorite Christmas movie. He made Iron Man, kickstarted the MCU. That's one of the best Marvel movies. I even like Iron Man 2.
I do too.
Like a decent amount, yeah.
I like Chef.
Chef is awesome. And I'll even give him this. His Jungle Book movie is fantastic. I've never seen the original, but that is the best of the live action Disneys that I have seen. I haven't seen most of them, but this Jungle Book movie I think is like stellar.
Mm-hmm.
Then he made The Lion King. And that is one of the worst movies ever made. I like hate everything about that movie. Then he made The Mandalorian show. And now we're here. I don't know what's going on. I tried to see what he's working on next, or if he's in Star Wars, hell forever, but good news, Max. His next movie, or his next project, is not a Star Wars project.
Hooray!
It's a show about Oswald the Lucky Rabbit for Disney Plus.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Is that live action?
John, buddy.
Do we know?
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
Yes. Apparently they shot part of it at Disney World. But John, buddy, what happened?
Yeah,
What happened?
I agree.
There's a lot of other names and stuff on here that the usual suspects, but Jon Favreau, man.
Yeah.
What are we doing, man?
Yeah, it's really
Put that out
bad.
of the way. I guess, we're kind of going to say everything's phoned in as we phone in this episode. So I guess let's start with the performances.
Yeah. Pedro Pascal, is he even there most of the time? Unclear.
Like under the no, I think we've all accepted that. That's whatever. But even his voice performance,
yeah,
I don't know how they directed him. If they're just like Mandalorians are stoic, just try and be stoic. I like Pedro Pascal. I think he's a good actor. I know a lot of people hate him.
Yes,
they hate that he's a part of everything or whatever. He's good in everything I've seen him in.
Kind of like you said about Jon Favreau. I feel like we've seen a lot of the people in this movie do good work in other places. I think this is more a problem with the conception of the Mandalorian as a character than it is a Pedro Pascal performance thing, because the Mandalorian is just stupid to me. Like why it like if you're going to make him like, okay, he's this bounty hunter, he's incredibly stoic, incredibly religious guy where, if he takes off his helmet and shows his face, it's like the end of the world for him.
Thank God that none of that shit was in this movie, though, I will say. I think that is one of the most uninteresting aspects. Are you
I'm
opposite
agreeing.
or you agree?
I'm agreeing.
Like in the show, and they have the lady and they have the whatever. I'll give him that. I was glad that was not in this movie. I was worried there was going to be some 10-minute scene where he talked to that lady Mandalorian, and yeah.
I totally agree with you. I think, like, again, this character is just kind of shit and not that interesting. And, like, why... I don't understand why it can't be, like, the thing that people describe it as. Like, people who are trying to, like, sell you on this movie say, like, oh, it's this, like, pulpy, fun science fiction movie with this, lone gunslinger and whatever. It's not that. That's not what it is. Like, it's not pulpy at all. It's the most boring, like, wet sandwich of a thing I've ever seen in my fucking life. Like, from down to the movie itself, the character, the mission, nothing is pulpy about this. Nothing is interesting. Nothing is colorful. It is the most nothing movie of all time. And, like, piggybacking off of that, like, if you're gonna do the whole, like, religious thing, like, oh, he's a stoic guy, like, he's gonna be... It feels like sometimes, like, Pedro Pascal is doing an impression of, like, Robert Pattinson's Batman sometimes, where he's just kind of like, I can bring you in warm, I can bring you in cold. It's kind of like he doesn't emote very much. And that can be, like, kind of like, oh, like, he's aura farming, he's cool, whatever. Like, he doesn't, show emotion, whatever. It's just boring. Like, there's not even a face that's...
Dude, like, his worst read of the movie was, he said, it's after, like, Grogu helps him or whatever.
The old protect the young, and then the young protect the old.
This is the way.
This is the way. Yeah. I heard that one, too.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if he did this over voicemail, if he's just done with it, if they're just like, you just give it nothing. Because I'm like comfortable not really putting this on him.
It's not on him. It can't just be on him because nobody gives a fuck.
Yeah, because Sigourney Weaver's in this. Sigourney Weaver, one of the greats. She's in some of my favorite movies. She's in the Alien movies. She's in the Avatar movies. We love those here.
Ghostbusters.
Thelma Louise, Ghostbusters. Said, like, one of the greats.
Yep.
She's phoning it in.
Yep.
Crazy. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of the cast other than one other person I'm kind of trying to wait. But
yeah, we'll talk about him.
Is there anyone else other than him?
I mean, we didn't talk about even, like, people...
Oh, there's a cameo. We can wait for that.
Well, there's a couple... Yeah. Well, The thing about this movie that also people have been saying is like, oh, well, at least there's the Ludwig score. This is the worst Ludwig score ever. Like,
Dude, what was he doing?
It's like it's also completely phoned in. Most of the time, you're listening to this like Star Wars hip hop type beat. It's total just it's ass.
That was like biggest. That was the one thing I was actually really excited about.
Yeah.
I didn't end up seeing it, but that's kind of how I felt about Tron Ares, where like I thought about seeing it just because it was Nine Inch Nails, and I just love Nine Inch Nails.
Yeah, I mean, that score was fine.
That score is really. I listened. I haven't
good.
seen that movie, but I listened to that score a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, even I don't know if he's just saving his composer juices for the Odyssey or whatever, or
it might have been that. It didn't really feel like he did anything new here besides the hip hop type beat, like I was saying, like the generic like.
Which I didn't even hate the first time it started, but then that was just it. And I was like, yeah, this is very like flat.
It felt out of place too. Like when it comes back at the end, it was like, is this his theme now? Like what is that? What even is it?
I don't know. That was the biggest disappointment for me.
Yeah,
for sure. Because I will say, like his music in the show and like that Mandalorian theme are fantastic.
Yes.
I love it. I love how different it is. Like I'd never say anything bad about John Williams or whatever, but that I remember being super excited about that. It just felt so new, and yeah, I was hoping we get more of that. There's sprinkles of really good Ludwig in this, I will say. I don't think it was like start to finish bad and phony like just about everything that's in this movie, but yeah, more often than not, some crazy Ludwig music probably could have done some lifting to keep me locked in.
Yeah, man. I think that the biggest problem that this movie has is that the Mandalorian should be the coolest motherfucker in the galaxy. Like, that should be the whole thing. If you can't make up a good story for it, at least you could make it up. At least you could make up something with that. And this dude sucks. Like, the Mandalorian sucks. Grogu especially sucks. Grogu's not a real character. Grogu's in the name of the movie. Grogu's not a character.
He's just as much of a character as Mandalorian is. I would say he gets more development than the Mandalorian does, Loki.
Maybe he
does.
The
Mandalorian is the most exactly the same at the start and the finish. At the start, I don't work for anyone. At the end, I don't work for anyone. Yes, you do. You work for the New Republic, bro.
Yeah.
Since we're talking about the New Republic, I love that Razor Crest ship. It's so cool. I was super bummed out in the Mandalorian show when it blew up or whatever. Ugliest paint job ever. We can't even have that. Like, we have to put these ugly. I know it's to sell toys or whatever. Like, what the fuck? Everything's just so ugly, and like I don't care, and it feels so like the whole like New Republic thing just feels so like phony.
Yeah.
And like Zeb's in it.
Yeah.
Also not a character.
No.
Is that the voice actor from the show?
You would think, yeah. You would think like, oh, maybe at least like the Filoni verse characters are a little more like fleshed out and interesting, or even the people voicing them are giving good performances. No, on all fronts. Like it's really just one of the worst movies to come out in a long time.
Yeah, Filoni wrote this. He's now in charge of Star Wars, which we'll talk about more. But
yeah,
this was written by Dave Filoni, who's a total hack. He's a total hack. I'm not a Clone Wars guy, so I can confidently say I know he studied under George Lucas. He took all of the wrong lessons from George Lucas. He took all of George Lucas's bad sensibilities as a filmmaker and writer. I don't like anything that dude does. I don't like ugh. He's in the movie.
He's in the movie twice.
He has his hat at one point. That made me. I was talking about Preston. It would be like if Kevin Feige put himself in like a Marvel movie.
If Kevin Feige put himself in Eternals twice.
Yes. Like ridiculous. At least when George Lucas is in Revenge of the Sith, but he's like covered in blue makeup and wearing these robes and he fits in.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's probably cool being like, yeah, I'm in that movie if I made it. Not, let me wear my iconic cowboy hat that I wear to Star Wars conventions that people recognize. Oh my god. Like, ugh. This like movie, it's so bad on its own, but then you think like this is the next direction for Star Wars. Like this is the movie they were confident putting in theaters after 7 years, being like, this will loop people back in.
Yeah. In a way, very fitting for this period in our country. You know? It's just like, these are the guys in charge. I guess we're going to have to ride it out.
Yeah, we'll just figure it out, I guess.
Yeah. Really, really bad. We didn't talk too much about the part that's just Grogu. I would just like to say that it felt like they were trying to get people to go to sleep when that was happening, because it's just Grogu dicking around. Fuck that little guy, first of all. Second of all, the Ludwig score gets very like lullaby-y at that time, and I was like, the fuck is like I was dozing as it was happening. I was like, what are they doing? Just walking around. You get that Stephen McKinley Henderson alien, and again, like, just a pro, just playing that little fishing alien guy. It's like, I would love to see you in any other movie, man. But I gotta watch Grogu just dick around and put the Mandalorian in a hole. Also, like, the Jabba people's henchmen, they couldn't fucking find the Mandalorian lying on the ground in the forest for what felt like a fucking week. Like, are you kidding?
Yeah, I agree. On both of those topics, though, like, bare minimum, I like when they do like the puppet stuff. Like, it is. I don't know how I want to word this. It's kind of cool there's a movie kind of starring a puppet, but not, because the movie sucks.
The puppet doesn't talk or have any personality whatsoever.
Agree. Like, I just love puppets. I'm a
too.
huge Muppet guy, I guess I'll say. So, like, anytime it was just something with Grogu, I was just kind of like, or I don't know, like there's a scene where like Grogu's climbing. I was just like, so cool they can just make a puppet climb. I don't know. I also love Babu.
I'm glad you got that enjoyment
I love Babu
out of it.
Frick. I loved seeing those little Babu Fricks. I don't really know what they did. They had a little shit for Grogu, but other than that,
were any of them actually the real Babu Frick from Episode 9? I don't know. I guess it doesn't
they all
matter.
look like Babu Frick, but
they all do.
But since you were talking about guards in Jabba's palace, I want to shout out my man Phil Trippett. He came back. He worked on the original ones, and he did those stop motion robots, which I thought looked really cool.
The little droids,
the big robots outside of the Hut Twins.
The big guys were cool.
So that was all completely stop motion. And yeah, it was Phil Trippett. I think there was some other, I'm pretty sure, stop motion stuff in this movie.
I couldn't tell.
But I could tell either. But I really like specifically that, I thought was pretty neat. But I also read that before I saw the movie. So maybe if I didn't know that going in, I'd be like, why are these robots moving like this? Because the CGI in this was atrocious. Mm-hmm. Especially like on characters. I thought Zeb kind of looked fine. The chess pieces looked horrible. Like it looked like 2002 all over again.
Yeah.
The green elephant in the room we've been avoiding looked horrible.
Yeah. Talk a little bit about Mr. Jeremy Allen White as Rada the Hutt.
Rada the Hutt. I was like uncomfortable and angry whenever he was on screen. The effect was so terrible. Jeremy Allen White recorded that in the bathroom over voicemail. Go get that check. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not. I don't think a good Rada the Hutt performance could have saved this movie, Max. But man, that was awful. Everything with Rada, I hated. Like I said, the way he looked. He looked so fake.
You want to hear my hot take on this?
Yes.
Best part of this movie
was Rada the Hutt.
Yeah, well, yeah,
That's
actually,
crazy. He was the worst character.
It's not even really an arc because he doesn't. Yeah, no, he doesn't actually have an arc. But I enjoyed him
He doesn't
more
have
than
an
I
arc.
enjoyed.
He's a MacGuffin kind of, and they stop him from getting eventually killed by the Hutts.
Mm-hmm.
But like, it's not like he learns anything. He learns that I would argue he doesn't have an arc. Like he doesn't learn anything about himself or I guess he stays with the newer.
I at least was a little more entertained than usual when Rada the Hutt was around when he was.
Oh my god, it was like the exact opposite for me.
Okay.
Like he completely took me out of the movie and just like made me frustrated.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's anything redeeming about this movie, but at least like a buff Jabba the Hutt who was, beating up stormtroopers in a spaceship, like
that was Filoni. That's your Filoni character that he gives a shit about and wants to write best in his own movie. So
you want to hear
I think my favorite part was puppet time, bro. Like real talk. I can't even lie. That was probably the only time I wasn't totally miserable. It was just seeing all the little freaks.
I think, yeah, if I had to pick, I wouldn't pick. I don't know.
I wouldn't either. Like,
it was just
I still
awful.
didn't like it. This was confidently the worst movie I've seen this year. And we talked about Mortal Kombat like 2 weeks ago.
At least Mortal Kombat had like.
I will say with that Mortal
sucked
Kombat
too.
movie, but it felt like everyone there really cared and was trying their hardest.
Kinda.
Kinda. Compared to this, bro. Compared to this is fucking Dune. Like.
Yeah. I also, how is this movie over 2 hours? That was another thing. Like,
it felt like 8, dude.
Yeah. There's no reason for this to be longer than 0 minutes.
There's a filler episode in The Mandalorian in the middle of it.
Yeah.
Like, just take that out. Take the poison shit out. Oh.
Yep. You want to hear my theory on why this movie exists?
To funnel money.
Well, that's true. Get some money. But my grand conspiracy theory on why this movie exists is that so in episode 10, Rey can team up with a buff Grogu voiced by Jeremy Allen White. What do you think?
There we go. I want to be my father. He was a Mandalorian. He was awesome.
Yeah.
I want to be my father. And he gets the Darksaber, and Ahsoka's like, this is the way.
Is Ahsoka alive at that time? Where the fuck was she?
I would have walked out if she showed up. I hate Rosario Dawson as Ahsoka.
I don't like that either, but like I mean like in the Rey stuff, is Ahsoka alive?
I think so. All this stuff takes place after
Sith
Return of the Jedi.
Or yeah, after Jedi, before Rey stuff starts.
So unless she like dies in her show. Yeah.
Yeah, and where the fuck was Grogu was complicit with the rise of the First Order?
So this takes place like 11 years after. This takes place like 10 or 15 years before Force Awakens. So Grogu would only be like 65. He would still be a baby. That's the thing.
So is he just going to be a baby forever?
I mean, he's like
and
50.
Also nothing? Like the whole intrigue, we got to go to break, but we'll resume this conversation in a second. We're here again, talking about The Mandalorian and Grogu. Norman, before we jumped off, we were talking a little bit about Star Wars lore, all that stuff. Was there anything else you wanted to say about The Mandalorian and Grogu film before we get into our Star Wars rankings?
No, I thought this sucked. I would not recommend this. I thought everything about it was weak and, like we said multiple times already, phoned in.
Yeah.
The action wasn't very good, didn't look very good. I didn't think it was like funny. It wasn't. Nothing grabbed me at all. No
I
one
didn't
really
laugh
felt like
once.
a character. I didn't laugh once. Yeah, nothing really grabbed me. No, I really don't. I just this sucked. I thought this was easily the worst Star Wars movie. Even as bad as some other Star Wars movies are, which we're about to talk about all of them. This was just nothing. Like nothing at all. Like it didn't feel like any people worked on this. It didn't feel like any people were in this. I don't know. I mean, like I think kids are gonna like this. I guess I'm totally wrong with that. But
If you have kids, go watch The Sheep Detectives. That's a better kids movie. Like honestly, like if you want to go to the theaters this weekend, there are really good movies in the theater. You could go watch Obsession if you want to watch a horror movie. You could go watch Is God Is. You could go watch I Love Boosters. You could go watch even the goddamn Sheep Detectives, as I said. There are good to great movies in theaters right now that you could watch. So do that instead of watching this dog shit. Norman, let's talk about some Star Wars movies. Let's just start it. I mean, let's start at the back and work our way up. I think we both are picking The Mandalorian and Grogu as the worst Star Wars movie. I guess we don't need to talk about it anymore because we just talked about it for an hour. What is your next up?
my next up was the last Star Wars movie that came out in theaters. That would be The Rise of Skywalker, Episode 9.
Okay, that is my next up as well. So
Yeah. It's not great. It's a disaster. But I'm feeling nice towards it today because I hated that Mandalorian movie so much. It still looks incredible. It's still one of the nicest looking blockbusters.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone in the cast gives it their all. They weren't even all happy to be there, but you know what? You wouldn't really be able to tell. I think it has. Is it Anthony Daniels who plays C-3PO?
Yes.
I think it has Anthony Daniels' best performance as C-3PO.
Yeah, they give him a little They
give him a lot to do, and he has a I mean, you can tell he's having a great time. But yeah, that movie is a nightmare in a completely different way. Trying way too hard to course correct and please the fans. I put in quotations for those people who listen.
I think
really bad. I mean that movie's the reason it took 7 years to get another Star Wars movie. And here we are.
I think that movie, the difference between that movie and Mandalorian and Grogu is obviously the scale is pretty different. Like that is a gigantic movie compared to the Mandalorian and Grogu.
That movie made $1 billion and didn't break even, which is crazy.
I think with that movie, at the very least, you have some real professional actors giving real performances in that movie. In The Mandalorian and Grogu, there's really no human people giving any kind of performances at all. So on that level, I think The Rise of Skywalker is probably a little better. Hate that movie as well. I would
watch it 10 times before watching The Mandalorian and Grogu again.
I don't know if you'd have to really get me in a dire situation to watch either of these movies ever again. My next up, you're not going to like it, but I had to put Solo next up, and I'm going to be fully transparent with you. I haven't seen Solo. I saw it the one time. I saw it when it came out, basically. And I wasn't crazy about it. I didn't hate it. Didn't think it was the worst thing in the world, but didn't really love it either. I did think I had a weird House of the Dragon thing going on with that movie where it was hard to see. It's a very dim movie. I think this has been talked about before. This is a common thing.
Towards the start it is. But yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. This movie obviously had Lord and Miller attached to direct at the beginning. They get fired. Ron Howard gets brought in. There's that. The one thing that's consistent about the Disney Star Wars era is that people are getting fired, and the movies aren't great. So that's Solo. I think like I would be open to rewatching this. This obviously has Donald Glover as Lando and Alden Ehrenreich as Han Solo. Like, I like those two people.
I think you should give. I'm not trying to say too much because I don't have it at the same place as you.
Mhm.
You should definitely give it a rewatch.
I
Especially
will.
if you said you kind of have a Star Wars itch right now. I would rewatch that one.
Mm-hmm. I will.
I watched most of it a couple weeks ago, but like I said, I'll save it.
Yeah. What is your number 10?
My number 10 is not a Disney Star Wars movie. It would be Episode 1, The Phantom Menace.
That is my 9. So yeah,
Okay,
get into
there
that.
we go. It's terrible. It's the worst of the prequels. I think we kind of give a little more grace to the prequels, like I said, because we grew up with them. But there are a lot of people our age who think the prequels are the best ones. I am not one of those people. I think they all suck to varying degrees. This one just happens to suck the most. This one is like painfully boring. There's a lot of terrible performances in this. The like one cool part of this movie is the Duel of the Fates.
There's two cool parts.
Okay, the pod racing's cool.
Yeah.
Pod racing. I'll give you all pod racing.
Yeah.
But the Duel of the Fates gets some of the craziest PR in history, because what they don't tell you about the Duel of the Fates is that it is intercut with a bunch of bullshit from this movie. It's intercut with little Annie like blowing up the trade racist character alien ship. Yeah, Phantom Menace sucks. I've actually watched all 6 at least episodic ones in the last couple of years, so they're still pretty fresh. Actually, twice. Yeah, I think the Phantom Menace blows. Am I missing anything here, Max?
I don't think you are. I think that it's interesting. Like, all of the prequels have their own flaws, but they're very different kinds of bad, in my opinion. Like, Phantom Menace is just a slog to get through. It's just a lot of like walking around and talking about midichlorians and all that nonsense, and it's just not that fun to watch. Whereas like Attack of the Clones is like complete sensory overload a lot of the time. So that's just kind of interesting. And then Revenge of the Sith is kind of the movie where they put it together a little better. Like, but yeah, I have episode 1 at 9. I echo a lot of the same things that you said. And yeah, what do you have at 9?
At 9, this is where things get a little funky. I have episode 6, Return of the Jedi.
Whoa!
Yeah.
This is a movie that you have a relative that worked on the movie, right?
I do, yeah. Yeah, I had an uncle who was actually nominated for an Oscar, but for leading the art department. That is not what I'm used to with this movie. Everything looks fantastic as it does in these old 3, especially all the Endor stuff. But I hate all the Endor stuff. I think this movie kind of just... amazing opening. Everything with Jabba's palace and the Rancor and the Sarlacc pit. That's all cool stuff. But the second half of this movie just does not do it for me. It feels very samey to the last 2. Just like the Death Star 2 and the fight with Luke and Vader. It's cool. It's good. It's emotional, whatever, but I think it just hits so much harder in Empire. Yeah, I really did not have a good time with Return of the Jedi last time I watched it. Yeah, I don't know.
I think
just never been too crazy about it.
Yeah. I'll hold my...
It feels kind of thrown together in a lot of ways.
I can see that.
The Ewoks are annoying in the same way we talk about Grogu's annoying in The Mandalorian. It's just too much.
But the movie is not called Return of the Jedi and the Ewoks.
It feels like it. Return of the Jedi and Wicket.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Just not a Return of the Jedi guy. Sorry. Parts of it I like, but yeah.
Okay, that was your 9?
That was my 9, yeah.
Okay.
So what would your 8 be, I guess?
My 8 is Attack of the Clones. And this is a movie that I don't really hate. I don't think it's like a lot of people will, come up to you and tell you that this is like the one of the worst movies ever made. It's like completely abominable. And to that I say I was like 7 when I watched this probably, and I think it's kind of fun. A lot of people don't like the goofy conveyor belt stuff where they Anakin and Padme are on like a conveyor belt at one point and they're trying to avoid like these little, things that are, gonna crush them or whatever, and then C-3PO and R2-D2 end up on it. A lot of people don't like that stuff. I to this day think that conveyor belt stuff is really fun, and I like it. It's fun in the Lego Star Wars game too. Probably, I think like you ask anybody our age, I think the Lego Star Wars games kind of affect your opinion of the prequels a little bit.
Lego is a huge part of Star Wars' identity. I was actually having a conversation with this. I think it was with Preston the other day because there's the new Lego Batman game out, which is a ton of fun. But we were just talking about how important Lego is to Batman and Star Wars and all of these things. Those games specifically growing up. Just really cool.
Yeah.
And now their sets are overpriced as shit.
Yeah, that's tough. It's for adults now.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think that Attack of the Clones is fine. But
Lego Fortnite burger, $15. This is as much as an actual burger. I just realized.
Would you rather have food or the Lego? Yeah.
Sorry, what were you saying?
I said Attack of the Clones is fine, and I like it just fine. I don't feel strongly either way. It's at 8.
I'll be a little quiet because I got a couple more movies before I get to Attack of the Clones.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
Would that leave me with my number 8?
Yes, it does.
My number 8 is going to be Han Solo, the Star Wars Han Solo.
Okay. Yep.
I think this movie is just a fun time. It's not that deep. Like, it doesn't. The scope isn't too crazy, or it's not, end of the galaxy. I don't think it's perfect. Like you said, it was kind of directed by 2 people. But Alden Ehrenreich, Donald Glover, are just so good in this movie. It's just, like, for me, impossible not to have a great time when either of those 2 guys are on screen. One of them's the main character, so he's pretty much always on screen. But yeah, I don't like the Dryden Voss stuff or whatever. Woody Harrelson's fine. But I have a pretty good time with this movie.
Yeah,
you need to rewatch it. Like,
I do.
Really. If you have it under the Phantom Menace, you are in desperate need of a rewatch.
Yeah, that might be true.
Yeah.
That might be true.
Yeah, it's not perfect. I don't think any of the issues are with the performances, which was like the hot button thing when this movie was coming out. It was like, it's not Harrison Ford, how dare you? But Alden Ehrenreich's great.
That's it. Yeah, that was a stupid ass.
It was such
sentiment.
A stupid thing.
Like,
that's why this movie didn't do well. Just straight up. Yeah.
What was why it didn't do well?
I think it was just such a big deal that it was someone other than Harrison Ford.
I think that isn't like, I don't know. Like, I don't care that much, and I think if the movie was like better, like if Lord and Miller did this and it was like really, really good, I don't think anybody would give a shit.
Would it have been though?
Maybe not. But I'm saying if you make a good movie, a lot of that like stuff, like that wouldn't even enter your frame of like, I don't know. I don't think that's the reason why Solo tanked.
I think this is a pretty good movie though. Like I don't think it. I think it's kind of what The Mandalorian wanted to be. Just like a low-stakes adventure with a recognizable Star Wars character. I think it fits that mold, or just does a way better job. Sorry, you can... This, as we said, this is our lazy episode. I want to look at the cinema score for this movie.
Solo?
Yeah.
That is a good test to see whether...
It's way better than the Rotten Tomatoes
score.
It got an A-. Like I don't think people who did see it disliked it. I I think some people just didn't want to see it.
I don't know. I don't think that Alden. We've also seen Alden Ehrenreich give good performances in other movies since. Like, and I think he's
You
fine.
saying
as
he's not
Han
good in
Solo.
Han Solo?
No. I think he's fine in that movie. I just think like if you made this movie today and it was a completely different movie and it was good, like I don't think we'd be talking about like, oh well, this guy's not Harrison Ford. Like, I don't know.
No, I think it was a thing because that's why we got CGI Luke Skywalker. That was a
yes.
billion% because of Han Solo.
I know.
'Cause I think Lucasfilm, people didn't want to see this movie because it was someone else.
I agree with you. I think that is true. But again, the movie was like really good. And I'm not talking like, oh, the people that saw it liked it. I mean like, wow, this is a great Star Wars movie good. Like if it was
But
like,
it was a really good time. Like people did like it is what I'm saying. So I don't know. I don't know.
if you are going to do the Han Solo movie, there's a certain expectation about it. Like you got to deliver on the promise of that, everything that character represents. And
We got to loop back to this after you've watched this again.
Yeah, we'll revisit this.
I think it does. I think it does.
We'll revisit that.
Yeah.
We're at 7.
Yes.
I got episode 7. The Star Wars: The Force Awakens. This movie was really cool at the time, I thought. It was cool to see a Star Wars movie in theaters for the first time. I thought it had the juice at the time. People in middle school were spoiling the Han Solo dies thing all over the place. So that it's I think that's honestly a true marker of the cultural impact of the movie. That was like a huge thing. Kylo Ren it gave us. And I think Kylo Ren is probably like top 5 at least Star Wars characters ever created. Top 2 maybe. I think this movie still is good. I've rewatched it since it came out. It's still enjoyable. It's still good. There's a lot of like really high highs in the movie. The fight between Finn and Kylo Ren in the snowy forest with it's crazy. It's awesome. It's some of the best Star Wars stuff. But in hindsight, it kind of feels like a nothing burger because it is the classic J.J. Abrams mystery box situation where he set up a bunch of stuff and didn't deliver on it in the later movies. They just didn't really have a plan for it, and feels kind of like a nothing. It feels a little nothing burgery now, but it's still fun. Like you can watch it now and have a lot of fun. So I like this movie.
You want to hear a fun fact?
Yeah.
We're talking about it.
Yeah.
J.J. Abrams, if he made The Last Jedi, was going to bring back Ahsoka.
Our boy Dave would have loved that.
And Luke was going to be like, fuck yeah, baby, let me hop in an X-Wing and go cut Kylo Ren in half.
Maybe it would have been good. Who knows? I don't know. How the way that all we know is that the timeline we're living in with the Star Wars stuff is maybe worst case scenario. Like this is it's like a total botch job. But yeah, I got Star Wars Episode 7 at number 7, and I like that movie. So, what's your number 7?
Number 7. It's one that gets me in trouble with folks our age. It's gonna be Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah.
Last 40-50 minutes, banger. Probably the best stretch of the prequels at all.
Mm-hmm.
It's still one of the prequels. And the first half is so damn prequely. It is such a slog getting to the cool shit at the end of this movie. The General Grievous stuff. He's like the coolest looking guy ever. Lame. I don't even like that really. The starfight at the start or whatever. It's kind of whatever.
I think it's fun.
It's fun, like but it's not one of the better ones.
No.
Yeah, I don't know. This one's fine. It's much, much better than The Phantom Menace, but it's still one of the prequels plagued with the issues of the prequels.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, obviously everything with Anakin and Obi-Wan, and that's all cool stuff.
Yeah.
I like how it ends.
Yeah. It's good
It's kind
stuff.
of funny that Yoda loses one fight and just goes into exile.
Yeah. Yeah, Yoda, much better character than Grogu. I was kind of longing for Yoda during this Mandalorian movie. What a guy, that Yoda.
Yeah.
Um, my number 6 also might get me in trouble with some, not necessarily people our age, but people who are still into Star Wars these days.
Are you about to tell me A New Hope?
No.
Okay.
People who are still into Star Wars these days, modern Star Wars, are really fucking into Rogue One. I'm not really. And I used to be. If we did this like a few years ago before like Andor came out.
Because you haven't watched Andor season 2.
Okay, maybe maybe something changes there. I don't know, but my problems with Rogue One kind of go beyond anything I think
agree.
Andor could fix. I think with Rogue One, I really liked it at the time. I rewatched it in IMAX before Andor came out because they put it back in theaters.
Oh yeah.
And I just didn't really like it. It felt very much like a, just very spin-off-y.
This is your number 6?
This is my number 6.
Okay, this is also my number 6, so.
Okay, so
I don't know why I'm
perfect.
holding my tongue. Yeah.
I think that it's got some great stuff here. I really like some of the characters. I really like K2SO, the droid, director Krennic, Ben Mendelsohn. He also appears in Andor Season 2. Haven't seen that, but I'm sure he's great in that.
Oh, buddy.
Yeah. Saw Gerrera, also in the Andor show.
Oh, buddy.
There's a lot. I mean, this is like the thing that gave us Andor, which I think we'd both have in like the top 2 of Star Wars things ever, probably.
This was also like low-key. This was one of those movies. This was like to a lesser extent Solo, where they reshot a ton of this.
Mm-hmm.
That was all done by Tony Gilroy,
Mm-hmm.
who went on to write Andor. This was originally directed by Gareth Edwards.
It is, or yeah, and it kind of
gets the credit for it.
I feel a lot of Gareth Edwards in this movie, and that's not.
Hey, just
part
because
of my
all of his
issue.
movies suck, you can't say that, dude.
Yeah, it feels very much like the creator in some places. Like I don't know. It just felt kind of empty in some places, and I really don't like the lead performance from Felicity Jones. It's kind of nothing.
With you there. Some of my pros. The end, the last act.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
that's probably like the last act of all last acts.
Yeah.
Especially for Star Wars, I think this might have the best third act, other than another movie. But yeah, all that stuff I think is awesome. This movie's low-key pretty funny for Star Wars. I think might be the funniest Star Wars movie quietly. I mean, obviously with K2, but so many other stuff. Donnie Yen's character.
It's simultaneously funny and also probably the darkest one, at least tonally.
Everyone dies at the end. I remember before this came out, like my dad and I were joking about like, oh, I guess everyone's gonna die at the end. But even before, I was walking into that theater, I was like, they're not gonna, But everyone died at the end, and they really they don't waste time at a point. It's when Bodhi, Riz Ahmed, shout out Riz Ahmed, love Riz Ahmed.
Yeah, he's great.
They so unceremoniously kill him. You're just kind of like, oh shit, everyone's dying, everyone, and yeah, everyone does die.
Yeah.
Leads right into A New Hope, which is kind of cool. This was the first big movie though to CGI a dead person onto an alive person. So, old Grand Moff Tarkin.
Yeah. Didn't love that even at the time when I didn't really understand the implications of it. It just kind of looks weird. Removing any kind of ethical thing from it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just doesn't really work.
I mean, without the ethical part, you could argue, with Luke, as we said in The Mandalorian, or Leia at the end of this movie is also. They do it again in Rise of Skywalker, and it looks way worse, but.
Yeah, I don't like that stuff. I never really like when they do it. It's kind of okay when they do it in spurts in the Marvel movies, like when you would have like a scene with like young Kurt Russell in Guardians 2. Like that's fine. But when you have like, I don't know, like full movie of CGI guy, like I don't know. Yeah, and the more you see it, the less like the effect works less. Like, and it doesn't work when you first see it, so it's just gets worse and worse. What is your next up?
My number 5 Star Wars movie would be The Force Awakens.
Okay.
Is this movie kind of a nothing burger now? Sure. Is this kind of the same as A New Hope? Sure. Is this movie stupid fucking entertaining? Yes, it is. Yeah, kind of a nothing burger movie, but I kind of agree with what you were saying. Like the lightsaber fights are so good. It's just very, very well made.
Mm-hmm.
It just, and like that's the nostalgia too, but like the first Star Wars movie we saw in theaters in our lifetime, just like the unbelievable hype to it. It's just really cool. There's a lot of really good, like the dogfight over Maz Kanata, is that her name?
Yes.
Maz Kanata's castle, unreal, like totally unreal.
Yeah, and when Finn fights the stormtrooper with the little like electric staff,
the guy yelled
thing,
"Traitor!"
Yeah,
It was so cool. Like the opening in this movie is awesome. I'll never forget seeing it for the first time. This movie does have the juice, I will say. Like we said, it kind of led to nothing, or at least at the end of the trilogy. But this movie's awesome. I could watch this any day. Super entertaining, well made. Yeah.
I honestly might have to move it up higher. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like it's really solid, and even the movies I have in front of it might be like more cohesive movies in hindsight, but like I don't care as much about them. Like I'll just spoil my number 5. My number 5 is Revenge of the Sith. I have Rogue One.
So we got 5 and 7 swapped.
Yes. And honestly, you're selling me on going your way.
I think it's facts, bro.
Like, I have Rogue One and Revenge of the Sith ahead of Force Awakens, but I don't really have strong opinions about Rogue One and Revenge of the Sith. I think they're just like more cohesive movies looking back.
Revenge of the Sith in no way is that a more cohesive movie than
it's less
Force Awakens.
it's less tainted. Like I think like the Force Awakens thing is so heavily tied to Rise of Skywalker that it knocks it just a bit. But
you gotta tie it to The Last Jedi.
Okay.
That's what I tie it to The Last Jedi.
Okay.
That's why I think I enjoyed so much. And then The Last Jedi just ends with that little kid.
Mm-hmm.
Damn, nothing happened. Because you get most of the answers in The Last Jedi. And then in Rise of Skywalker, they reverse those answers. Mainly the Rey thing. I think the Rey thing, because it's one of the big parts of The Force Awakens. And it's like, oh, you're nobody. That's a cool idea.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to get
That's
too
from
much
Last Jedi, isn't it?
Yes, that's from The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
And then in The Rise of Skywalker, it's like, you're actually a fucking Palpatine. Yo. Have you ever? I'll wait till The Last Jedi. Yeah, that's what helped me watch The Force Awakens.
Yeah, I'll move on to my number 4 here. But I have
Return of the Jedi.
Well, yes, I'm going back on my so I think Return of the Jedi at this point is probably one of the more underrated movies of all time. I don't think the drop off is like a massive drop off from the first 2 Star Wars movies. I think, and to be clear, I haven't seen this movie in quite a while. Probably since I was watching, the Blockbuster DVD we had. It's been a long time.
I'm telling you, bro, rewatch all of these and your list is about to get thrown
it's getting nuked.
It's getting
like,
nuked.
Yeah.
Because I had a very similar list to you.
Uh-huh.
And then the last like 2 or 3 years, I've rewatched all of these movies. And yeah, it all came a little different. But no, you can. I mean, it is one of the biggest movies ever or whatever.
Yeah. I think like the opening sequence is fantastic. You mentioned that. The Jabba stuff, breaking Han out of carbonite, like all that stuff is great. Sarlacc pit, that's probably like what, like when I think of Star Wars, that scene is probably like what I think about.
It's like the most Star Warsy ass Star Wars stuff.
Yeah, you get like Boba Fett, Jabba the Hutt. Everybody's there, and it's a really cool scene. Great stuff. And I like that movie. I think the Ewoks are fine. It's fun.
No, you don't.
I honestly, I don't really feel that. I was going to do the whole, like, this is the most underrated movie ever thing.
Yeah.
And I don't even know if I can go that far because, again, I haven't seen it in a long time, but I do remember liking this movie a lot. But yeah, that's where I'm going to end on Return of the Jedi. What is your 4?
I'm surprised you haven't clocked it yet. Number 4 is Attack of the Clones, Episode 2.
Wow. Okay.
This might be.
I
like
applaud
my
you for your
nostalgia.
courage, by the way. This
might be. It's the best prequel. And a lot of it is nostalgia. Like I said, I don't know. I don't really hate any of these other than like The Mandalorian and Rise of Skywalker. And Phantom Menace. That movie's awful. Attack of the Clones, though, that movie is like a fucking ride. Like, there's so much cool shit in it. Like you said, a big part of it's the Lego and just like when we grew up. But like, I love the Camino clone planet. Jango Fett is so cool.
I do
the
too.
Fight with Obi-Wan
Yeah.
and Jango in the rain. Like Holy Aura. I love the Geonosis stuff. I love the battle arena.
Yoda
Count
lightsaber
Dooku.
fight.
I love Count
Yeah.
Dooku and Yoda. I love just Yoda flipping around. You'll never take that from me. I think I like all the stuff with Anakin and his mom. I don't love the Anakin and Padme stuff in this one either.
I kind of do. I kind of do. I like the the sand stuff. Like I think it's fun. I think it's funny.
Yeah,
I enjoy it.
It's not terrible, but it's the worst part of the movie for sure. But dude, you get Dexter Jettster, like you get Obi-Wan going on like a kind of noir detective kind of thing, and he literally just goes to a diner. And he's like, "Me with Dex," and he's like, "Hey, what you know about this?" Dex like, "Hey, I know a guy who knows a guy," and it's like I don't know.
The bounty hunter in the opening scene with the car chase.
That whole
and
car
like,
chase is
like,
awesome. Yeah,
it's great.
The
stuff.
bounty hunter who like shoots a gun that like squirts out a snake that like squirts out a bug and it wakes up Anakin. Yeah, I've had a really good time last time I watched Attack of the Clones. My favorite prequel, low-key by far. There's a lot of movies between this and my last prequel.
I applaud you for your courage. I think you have a better list than I do. I'm not gonna lie. You put a little more, let's say, heart into this. I
did a big marathon. I was showing Brie we actually never watched the Disney ones. I showed her at least the first 6. And I hadn't seen them in years. So yeah, this is where I'm at.
I'm liking where you're at. Everything, like, I don't have the same list as you, but everything you're saying is like the stuff I kind of ran through in my head and then like reworked it in a way that now that I'm hearing you say it, like doesn't. I'm not loving my list, but my number 3. I think this top 3. I feel like I don't think this top 3 would change very much. My 3 is The Last Jedi. This movie's really, really fucking awesome. And, it's probably one of the more pivotal movies of our lives in terms of movie history and what it represents. But
I think we have the same top 3.
I think we do too. So we can just talk about the top 3 here, but let's do a little segment on The Last Jedi. So removing the sort of outside noise about it, because that's obvious, everybody knows about that basically at this point. I think the idea that, the ideas that this movie is playing with are very interesting and unique for Star Wars up to this point. And that is what we needed at this time. I think that this movie is also certainly the best looking Star Wars movie ever made, point blank, period. Like,
yeah, that's fair.
The throne room stuff, the stuff with like Rey and Kylo talking to each other, just like I remember the first shot of the first trailer for this movie was like, oh, they're making something crazy right now. What were you gonna say?
I think, yeah, this is obviously the best to come out of the Disney regime. This is the only Star Wars movie since 3 that actually has some kind of voice. Like, feels like it was directed by a person, and not how do we make $8 billion.
And not like, yeah, like how do we make Star Wars? It's like how do we? This one is like, let's make
break down Star Wars.
Yeah,
and it's brilliant. I don't know if you've seen this, but I can't recommend it for anyone enough, whether you love this movie or you hate it. I think it's on Disney Plus, but there's like a documentary called The Director and the Jedi, about Rian Johnson making this movie, but more specifically him and Mark Hamill, because they really did not get along. They were not seeing eye to eye, but Rian Johnson just explains everything, and it's brilliant, and it makes sense. One of my favorite things he says, because a lot of people hate this movie because Luke didn't just get an X-Wing and go cut Kylo Ren in half, is that if Luke went to Dagobah in Empire Strikes Back and just handed him Yoda his lightsaber, would Yoda hop in the X-Wing and go cut Darth Vader in half? No, he's lost hope for the Jedi. I don't need to explain all this. Watch The Director and the Jedi. It's fantastic. But yeah, I think minus the Camino stuff, the Finn and Rose stuff, without that, this is probably my favorite Star Wars movie.
Yeah, that stuff's not great.
That stuff's kind of a slog.
Yeah.
And I feel bad for John Boyega because clearly he got hoed throughout all of this.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like the stuff with Rey and Kylo Ren and Luke is like the best Star Wars I think ever. If the whole movie was just that, it would be like my favorite Star Wars movie. I also like love the stuff with Poe and Laura Dern. I don't remember her character's name, but all that good stuff.
Yeah. I'm looking on Letterboxd. The tagline for this movie is "Let the Past Die."
That is literally what was in every trailer. That is what this whole movie's about.
What a awesomely evil tagline. I really like this movie. Our top two is obviously A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back, right?
Yep.
Probably don't need to elaborate much on that. It's those two movies are very good. A New Hope, obviously one of the most important movies ever. Empire, also that. I Am Your Father, good stuff. Blowing up the Death Star, that's all cool stuff. Those are our lists. I'm sure they'll make nobody happy. So very similarly,
that's what we're trying to do.
Yeah, the Last Jedi. You come up with an original take, people are gonna have some issues with it. So I applaud you for your originality, Norman. Mine is a little more stock, but still.
Can't help being me, man.
Yeah, I like your list more than I like my list. Full transparency, but that's been the Star Wars episode. We probably won't be talking about Star Wars again for a very, very, very long
until Starfighter, baby.
Oh yeah, right. We didn't even talk about that.
We'll be back next week. Back rooms. Let's get it.
Yeah, real movies next week.
Real movie, Indy horror. Woo-hoo.
Okay. Bye bye.
Bye bye.